Alongside is the president of the Oakland Athletics, Dave Kaval, and we're actually coming to you from the Shibe Park Tavern at Rickey Henderson Field. A year ago, I would have said, we're coming to you from a West Side club at the Oakland Coliseum. What a difference.
Huge difference. This is a great way to honor our past and really create an amazing amenity for our fans.
What's interesting, Dave, is you have a great passion and history for sports. You understand the significance of history. You grew up in Cleveland. You went to Municipal Stadium, so you get it in terms of why the history is important. Why do you think it is for the A's?
Well, we have such a great history. We have some of the greatest players and 9 world championships with this franchise. We're celebrating our Philadelphia history here with Shibe Park Tavern. We even have a brick from the old stadium. We have all the old jerseys. It's just a great way to celebrate our past.
And obviously the Oakland Coliseum at some point is going to be replaced by a new A's facility, but in the meantime, some people might, oh, you're putting lipstick on a pig, but you feel differently.
Well, I think this stadium still has a lot of great moments of history over the next couple years before we build our new ballpark. And so we want to make sure our fans have a great experience, whether it's Shibe Park Tavern, Championship Plaza, or all the other amenities that we've added this year.
Now, you of course wrote a book after traveling 38 cities, 30 ballparks in 38 days,
yes,
I believe. And you wrote a book about that. And I'm wondering what you took from all those ballparks to incorporate into the A's new stadium.
Well, I think one of the big things was you want to actually have a stadium that actually has a great fan experience where fans can cheer, and the Oakland fans are some of the loudest, boisterous, most energized fans in all sport. And so to have a new ballpark that actually curates that and has a great experience is something we're going to do.
Camden Yards obviously was the first sort of throwback ballpark, and everybody sort of copied it. They got a Camden Yard cutout, copycats. Yeah. How are you going to differentiate yourself from the copycat ballparks?
Well, we're going to actually kind of chart a new course, and our plan is to build more like Wrigley or Fenway, smaller, more intimate, better fan experience, something that people can really have a unique time at, and I think that'll be something that really resonates with the community.
You know what's interesting is you tweeted out something probably 2 weeks ago. It's a beautiful day. I think you were at Jack London Square.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I had responded, sounds like it's better tease than my 6 o'clock sportscast.
Well, you know, I have to tell you, I've been at all the different sites that we're evaluating. I'm out there, I'm meeting with the community, I'm talking to stakeholders. So it's just a great way to kind of generate the interest in the team.
What is your, you're not going to say anything, but personally, what do you prefer?
Well, I think the key thing that I'm hearing in terms of, you know, a site is make sure that we have a ballpark village. I'm hearing that over and over from fans, from the community, from civic leaders, wherever we build, and I think we could do it at any of the 4 remaining sites, but build a ballpark village. Bars, restaurants, nightlife, an energy around the ballpark beyond just the games.
So that would be an obvious requirement here at the Coliseum. You have the transportation infrastructure, but you don't have the village you're talking about. You do have that at Howard Terminal, and the proximity actually is reasonable from downtown Oakland. How do you weigh that versus this location?
Well, this location has the better transit and infrastructure, and actually you can probably build quicker. So you're weighing these pros and cons of each site, and it's also making sure that the community is behind wherever we build. So when we do announce it later this year that this is our site, we do so with a groundswell of support across the entire city.
So you're not going to tell me what you like?
Well, I like them all. I like them all. Each one has pros and cons. You know, we're still working with the city to figure out which one makes the most sense. And I think when we get to that decision, it's going to be a great day for our community.
You, as I said, grew up in Cleveland. You were an Indians fan. You were a Cleveland Browns fan. You had your heart torn out of you when the Cleveland Browns left town. Earlier this week, the Oakland Raiders left town. You can empathize with Raider Nation and the Raider fans, even if it's going to benefit your baseball team.
Well, we're very disappointed that the team did leave. You know, we're saddened by it. I'm personally saddened by it because I went through it myself. My family had season tickets to the Browns for 46 years before they moved. And so I just think that's something that's not really fair to communities that teams are moving around. You know, you really create a connection with the team that, you know, transcends sports. It's almost like religion in some way, at least it was for me growing up. And so we just want to make sure that here in Oakland, our commitment the A's have is real, and we're focused on our efforts and making sure our ballpark is built over the next several years.
Would you agree that obviously the Warriors' departure to San Francisco and the Raiders' pending move to Las Vegas has increased your cachet or leverage?
Well, I think the key thing is that we wake up every day, or I wake up every day, laser focused on getting this ballpark built. We know it means everything to the organization in terms of our ability to win world championships and the city. It's a big deal, and we're doing everything we can to make that successful.
But you have to admit, I mean, you're the only game in town. You're in a pretty good situation. Right?
Well, obviously, we can only do what we can do. We can't control the other teams, and we're 100% focused on our success with the A's.
If you weren't the president of the A's, you could have been a politician,
I don't know about that.
How has Avaya Stadium been able to sort of give you the knowledge, the insight into not only a community, but what it is the fans want, what it is the team wants, what it is you need?
Well, I think the thing we saw with Avaya was building the intimate stadium. We're thinking fan first was essential. And we created neighborhoods like the largest exterior bar in North America where people can gather and have a great experience around sports. We put all the premium inventory at the field level. We actually took some risks and it created a great experience. We're going to do the same thing here at the ballpark for the A's.
Lou Wolf paid you a compliment. I got to look it up on my iPhone here. But he said about you, I'll call him a why not guy instead of a what if guy. And it reminded me of the Bobby Kennedy quote, some people see the way things are and ask why. I see things that never were and ask why not. And that's a great compliment, and I'm wondering who and what instilled this sort of philosophy in you?
I think it's growing up in Cleveland and also being an entrepreneur. I started a baseball league, the Golden Baseball League, and just being out there trying to make things happen for decades, really. And understanding that when you have that success, when you have a vision and you basically get an entire community behind you, you can do amazing things and create a legacy for this generation and beyond.
And you knew the situation in Oakland was very problematic because of Oakland, because of Alameda, the politicians that were involved. Do you thrive when somebody says no, you say yes? Is that just part of your DNA?
For me, whenever someone says it can't be done, I get more energized to do it. And so I think this is the same thing. Even though it's a very hard project, it's a heavy lift, this is the type of challenge that I want to dedicate my career, my life to. And I think it's a fight worth fighting.
I want to ask you about the heavy lift. Tell the viewers the story about how you met your wife.
Well, actually, it's funny. So I was moving into Stanford freshman year, 1994, and actually I met her dad first, and I helped him carry a refrigerator up to the 3rd floor. And when I got to the dorm room, I was exhausted and sweating, and I saw her for the first time, and the rest was history. We started dating 2 weeks later, and we have 2 kids and happily married.
Well, after lifting a refrigerator up a flight of stairs, you probably didn't have to convince your father that you were the right one.
It helps. It was good. You got to get in with the father. That's a key move. That's a key move.
Finally, obviously, you're a very ingratiating guy. This is the first time I've had an opportunity to meet you, but you had an open door policy in which I can see it exists right now. Before this interview, fans coming up, wanting to speak with you, giving their ideas. What is the best idea a fan gave you during that open door policy?
I actually think it's naming the field Rickey Henderson Field. So I had a fan come in and said we should honor one of our great players and name the field. And I looked at him and I said, Rickey Henderson Field. And I think we gave each other a high five. And now, a couple months later, we're going to have the dedication of Rickey Henderson Field on Monday. And so there's so many great ideas that have come out of that. It's a great way to connect to the community and our fan base, and I'm looking forward to continuing it.
What was Rickey's reaction when you told him that?
He was a little shocked. I mean, he was honored because, he's Oakland tried and true, and for him to have this moment and to be celebrated, he deserves it, but at the same token, he's very humble, and I think it's something that means a lot to him.
And you brought Dennis Eckersley back, so this is obviously, we're surrounded by Shibe Park memorabilia, but your effort is also bringing former A's back into the fold.
Yeah, Oakland A's. We have some of the greatest players of all time, and bringing Rickey in as my special advisor, Dennis Eckersley, basically putting the band back together, getting everyone focused on this new ballpark and kind of the resurgence of the club is critical.
I asked you the best idea. What was the worst idea?
I think it's the floating stadium. That is just too much. Like, I mean, it would like move around the bay, and there'd be 4 tugboats, not 3, and that was a bridge too far. But I appreciate the guy and for the effort in coming up with it, but I think it's not going to happen.
Finally, you're at the forefront, much more visible than probably any team. Well, Larry Bear's right up there, I guess, with the Giants. But what is your conversations like with Mr. Fisher? Is this daily? Is it weekly? Is he engaged?
You know, I've worked with John for over 6 years. We built Avaya Stadium together. We have a great working relationship, and we're excited to bring that same knowledge and skill set to the challenge at hand in Oakland of building a new ballpark.
All right, Dave, great to meet you. Good luck with this season. Good luck with the project, and we look forward to that Howard Tournament announcement soon.